What's up guys, this is Timmy up in Alaska, and today I want to talk a little bit about how the truck house has performed over the last 4 years, how it's held up, what my future plans are for it, give you a little tour of it, and finally talk about my future plans and any changes I would make if I could build it all over again. So this year is the 4th year that I've had the camper. It marks 4 years of owning it, and it has been an incredible ride. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity this thing has given me and where it's taken me and the friends I've made through it, and it's just been an incredible experience. If you guys are new to the channel, I do a new video every week, sometimes 2 videos a week, so you can go back and see all the adventures I've done in this thing, and I've got a lot of adventures to go on in it still. So how this truck house came to be is I used to full-time in a Toyota RV for about 6 years in Anchorage, Alaska, just moving around to a new place every night, and had an awesome time. And the whole reason I did that is because I wanted to move into an RV and save money so I could build my own cabin up here in Alaska. And about 6 years later, I was finally able to build the house of my dreams. My old man came up and helped me out with it, and just was an awesome experience. Once I finished the cabin, I knew I still wanted to continue living half my life on the road, and so it was no option. I had to have a road rig. And the Toyota RV was pretty beat down. It was going to need a lot of TLC and some restoration. Even though it's an awesome rig, I decided I was better off selling it and just starting fresh and building my own camper. So the cool part about building the truck house is I had a lot of leftover lumber from the cabin I just finished building. So I knew it was going to be pretty reasonable to build, pretty affordable, and it just seemed like something I could tackle. So I sat down with a pen and paper for about 2 months and just thought of all the things that I wanted in the camper. With the 6 years of experience I had in the Toyota camper, I knew what I wanted, I knew what I was going to use and not use. And after the issues that I had with the Toyota camper, I knew I needed to create kind of an untraditional camper design. I needed something that would shed water and snow off the roof and not pull up so I didn't get water damage. I wanted something that would cut through the wind faster, and I wanted something super strong and stout that I would be able to go off-roading and not worry about the walls peeling off the camper or the cabinets ripping out, stuff like that. So I decided to build a small cabin on the back of the truck. I thought that was the solution. I knew I could design the camper to slice through the wind better than a traditional RV or truck camper. And I also knew I could build it super stout where I could go off-roading and not worry about things falling apart. And I came up with this design. So that's where the idea of the camper came from. If you guys look back at my videos, I've done some really crazy stuff in this camper, a lot of crazy off-roading, and just crazy trips in general, road trips. I've done 2 different 15,000 mile road trips, so it's about 30,000 miles of driving just in those 2 road trips, and I've probably put somewhere around 90,000 miles on this camper now, and it's not all been easy on it. Been through some extremely rough conditions, and it's holding up awesome. The primary thing that I have to maintain in the camper is just the waterproofness of it. To waterproof the wood in the camper, I do it just like a sailboat. What I use is called Captain's Varnish 1015, and it's basically just a waterproof veneer that goes over the outside and gel coats the whole camper in this nice waterproof layer, and that just keeps water from penetrating the wood and rotting the wood. And so far I haven't had any issues with rot, which is awesome. I just make sure to put a fresh coat of the Captain's Varnish on it every year, and it's holding up great. The other big concern was the metal roof up here. When I originally built this camper, I knew I wanted a super waterproof roof that would shed snow and water off instantly, and I wanted a nice slope to it. It's got about a 612 pitch, and yeah, it's great. It just runs the water right off it, so I don't have to worry about water or snow pulling up and destroying my roof or leaking through. Sheds it off nice and fast. I know a lot of people have built their own campers in the past, and probably some of them have had metal roofs, but I couldn't find any information on a camper with a metal roof that was made to withstand highway speeds like 70, 80 miles an hour. So it was basically just an experiment putting this metal roof in the camper, and I went overboard with it. I have metal screws every 6 inches, so everything's locked down super solid, and I have driven 85 miles an hour in this truck and been through insane windstorms and blizzards and stuff, and the roof is held up perfectly. It's pretty awesome. There's only basically 2 more issues I've dealt with on this camper, so I'll show you what they are really quick. The first one is the door. This was the first door I've ever built in my life. The door is made out of cedar fence pickets, so what you'd use to make a fence, and it was an experiment in itself, but it's held up really great. It's a really solid little door. I've got it insulated in between, cedar pickets on each side. The one issue is I unfortunately didn't really make much of a door jamb, So as you can see there, snow and water kind of can get in the camper pretty easily. And since the door is so close to the wood deck, sometimes when snow builds up here when I'm driving in ice, I can't open the door because it's just too close to the floor. So what I'm gonna do is shorten the door here about 1 inch, and I'm gonna put a door threshold down there. That way the door will just kind of swing over all the ice and hit a nice rubber stopper in there. The other issue is my good old oven here. I do a lot of off-roading in this thing, like I was saying, and things really get tossed in here. And for some reason, I've just had trouble with this Dometic oven securing it. So right now I've just put this cam strap on because it just broke free a couple days ago on a drive up to the Arctic Ocean. Dometic doesn't really have a lot of great ways to securely attach this oven. There's no attachments in the back to lock it in anywhere, just the front. So I've got to figure that out. But all truth and honesty, those are the only two issues I've had with this truck camper, is the oven breaking free and just this door kind of catching snow every now and then when it drifts up. Before we do a tour of the camper, I want to tell you guys about the truck. A whole bunch of you guys asked about this truck, and I will do a full video on all my modifications at some point. Just haven't done it yet. But this is a 1996 Ford F350. It's got a 7.3 Power Stroke diesel in it, which is probably one of the most reliable diesel engines ever made. Every now and then it'll have some electrical or sensor issues, but it's pretty rare. I've only had about 4 breakdowns in the past 4 years of owning this truck, and they've all been like $30 parts, really minor breakdowns, really fixable. And considering what I put this thing through, that is really good. That's with 90,000 miles of extremely difficult use, hauling the camper in the back all the time, and also hauling a 5,000 pound trailer half the winter with snow machines and whatnot. So I'm gonna briefly tell you some of the things I've done to the truck. First thing a lot of you guys have asked about is the suspension. I have a 2-inch lift, a shackle reversal lift in the front, and I've got 2-inch lift blocks in the rear. So it's got a 2-inch lift total. I've got Fox shocks, the 2.0s, which made a massive difference in the ride quality. They've been really awesome. The tires I'm running are Toyo tires. They're the AT3, and the size is 37 by 12.5 by 18. These have been the best winter tires I've ever ran in my life. They've been really awesome. These have about 30,000 miles on them, and they're still going. Pretty sure I can get another 20,000 miles out of them pretty easy. So pretty good for a 10,000 pound truck and camper. The wheels I'm running are Method 305 NVs. These have been awesome. And they've been great for wheeling, nice and strong, reliable, and I don't have to worry about them cracking on rocks when I'm rock crawling and stuff like that. It's got old school 4-wheel drive, so to lock it into 4-wheel drive, you have to get out of the truck, twist the hubs to lock, and then you can put the transfer case in 4-wheel drive, and when you want it out of 4-wheel drive, you can come back out, unlock your hubs to free, and roll in 2-wheel drive. In the rear, I've got custom lift springs from Alaska Spring in Anchorage, Alaska. Those guys are awesome. If you need any kind of spring work, definitely go see them. They know what's up. They're legit. And same thing, got a set of Fox shocks, 2.0s in the rear. I haven't done a whole lot to the engine. It's mostly stock. I do have a pair of 150cc baby swamp injectors in there, so it's got some really good diesel injectors and makes a massive difference in the power. Makes it a lot easier to start. Nothing special with the batteries. I've got Costco batteries in there, just Interstates, 2 of those, stock starter and alternator and all that stuff. So nothing too crazy. The truck has a crew cab, so excuse the mess. She's nice and dirty in here. I just got back from a trip yesterday. This is a custom RV converted truck. So in 1996, when they got this from the factory, a company named Waldock took the truck and put all this custom interior wood trim in here. It's really nice. And put these custom seats in here. These are super comfortable seats. They're made for basically an RV, and it makes it nice and cush for road trips. And they look pretty cool too. You can tell I've used them pretty hard. I've had to do some patchwork to keep them alive, but they're still going. I also installed a Hydra chip in this pretty recently. This is a power chip that gives you about 100 extra horsepower. It makes a massive difference. It's got some cool settings, like when you pull up to a drive-through, you can click this down and put it in whisper mode so the diesel gets nice and quiet. And then you can put it back into normal mode once you leave your drive-through. It also has a lot of different transmission and towing settings and gas mileage settings. It's pretty neat. I've got the typical CD player back there with a 12-inch sub behind my seat and an ARB air compressor right there, which is pretty sweet. I also have a CB radio so I can talk to truckers and whatnot, and a reverse camera. I installed that, which makes it a lot easier to back up. It's got all the typical diesel gauges so you can keep up with what's going on. Make sure your truck's running well. And power doors, power windows, all that stuff, all the good stuff. Probably my most major repair in the truck, and it happened immediately when I bought the truck, was the transmission. There's only one person that owned this truck before me, which is awesome, but he towed around like a 40-foot yacht. so the transmission was pretty fried. So I did upgrade the transmission to a stage 2 transmission, so it's built up really strong, and it's meant to haul all this weight in trailers and stuff now. For lighting, I replaced the stock headlights with spider headlights. Massive difference. Cost you about 150 to 180 bucks. Made a huge difference in the light quality and just being able to see at night. And to add on top of that, I've got KC Apollo off-road lights and KC Slim lights down low, and also have them up high. So in Alaska, it's really nice to have a whole bunch of light because it's dark half the year. So those lights really make a huge difference being able to see and keeping you safe. And up front, I've got this custom bumper, and I designed this myself, sketched it up, and I can weld steel, but I'm not too confident with my aluminum welding skills. So buddy Joe at Midnight Sun Metalworks in Racks of Alaska welded this thing up for me, and it has been awesome. I just hit a caribou maybe 2 weeks ago with this bumper, and hit it right there, 30 miles an hour. Bumper is completely fine. It's pretty nuts. Just saved the truck. So it's really awesome having a bull bar on this thing. And I've got a Warren VR 12,000 winch in the front with some synthetic line from Master Pull, and that has pulled this truck out probably, I'd say I've been stuck about 6 different times now, and I've had friends stuck about 8 or 10 different times. So I've used the winch a good bit. I even used it to lift the main beam up for my house I built over there. Pretty cool. And my buddy that helped weld up the front bumper there also helped weld everything else you see on here. So same deal, I told him I wanted a basket rack that would fit on top of my Jackery rack perfectly. That way I could put long boats up here and the rack would support the front of the boat. So I sketched up this basket design exactly how I wanted it, and Joe welded that up for me. It's been really awesome. And it gives me a lot of additional storage with my storage box up there, and I can fit kayaks and bikes on the other side of the rack. So that's pretty cool. And finally, Joe welded up this flatbed right here. I took my original bed off of the truck and turned that into a truck bed trailer. And then I wanted a flatbed, so same deal. I sketched this thing up exactly how I wanted it, and Joe just created it for me using his fancy welding skills. It's been rock solid. I've had this flatbed for about 2.5 to 3 years now, and it's had a ton of weight on it, obviously, with the camper. Camper weighs about 2,200 pounds, and I've done a lot of crazy off-roading with it, and it's holding up really awesome. On the outside for additional storage, I've got Highway Products boxes, and I custom ordered these guys down in Medford, Oregon, and when I was road tripping down, I installed them myself. You guys can look at my videos, you might find that box install video, but these things are really awesome, and great way to keep all your gear dry, keep all your tools locked away, and that's what I love about the flatbed. It gave me all this additional storage that I didn't have with the truck bed. And moving on to the truck camper here, it's all basically built out of Douglas fir, and a lot of this is left over from the cabin that I built, so that was really cool. I was able to build it pretty cheap, minus the appliances and windows. I get the windows from Japan. They're from a company called Maygood. They're really awesome. I'll show you them inside. And this is an outdoor shower curtain, so it kind of swings out 2 arms and gives you a privacy curtain, so you can take an outdoor shower and hang a little solar sun bag. And you can see the chimney up top for the wood stove. On the back of the camper, I've got another place to store bikes. So this will hold the rear wheel, and that holds the front wheel up there. And I thought that was pretty cool. It's an easy way to get your bike on and off the camper without having to crawl up on top of the rack. Got a little mailbox right here. People put stuff in there every now and then, and put the flag up. I've got my childhood hero here, Chris Farley himself, a little tribute. And I don't know, thought that was funny. Same guy, Joe, he's got a fancy cutting machine and cut that up for me. One of the coolest parts about the camper is I'm able to remove it super easy. I've got these electric jacks that hook right in there with 1 bolt, so I can put those on really quick. And the jacks actually store in these boxes right here. So I can take them out of the box, hook them up, and I press a button, and the jacks lift the camper off of the flatbed, and I drive out from under it. So that's a really cool feature, being able to remove your camper to get your truck worked on or to use your truck bed. And it just makes the truck that much more versatile. All right, you guys ready for a camper tour? Let's go check it out. So obviously this camper porch is pretty tall. It's like up to my chest. So you can't get up here with a normal stair setup, and I needed to create a way to get in and out of this camper that was really fast. It didn't involve setting up a ladder. So I created these stairs right here, and I didn't want to keep it one long piece that folds up because it would just be too tall and awkward. So I made it fold in half like this. So literally takes you 5 seconds to put them up, 5 seconds to put them down. So that's a great way to get up in the camper. And one of the coolest parts about this stair design is if I'm camping out in the city where it's kind of sketchy, I can pull up my stairs at night like this. And that makes it really difficult for people to just break in my door. They'd have to climb up on this porch, which is not easy to do. You can do it, but it's not easy. On the porch, I have these two boxes. The left box here is my propane for the oven inside and my diesel tank for the diesel Webasto heater inside. In my right box over here, I usually just have firewood or my wet paddling clothes in the summertime. I have extra diesel in there right now from my Arctic drive a couple weeks ago. The awesome part about having a rear porch like this is I do a lot of whitewater kayaking. So I wanted a place that I can dry my gear out while I'm camping without it getting rained on. So if it's pouring rain, I have all these hooks on the back porch so I can hang all my paddling gear up and dry it out even if it's raining outside. Right there I've got a little temperature gauge and a little bird feeder I built out of a whiskey bottle. It's kind of fun. And I've got some pretty cool porch lights, so I just hit this switch over here and they turn on and light up the night for me. Pretty nice. I also have another porch light I mounted right there. This is my original one, so it's for some extra light if I need to see down into the boxes a little better. These posts for the wooden deck I've got in the Madanuska River up here, and I was gonna use them in my main cabin, but I wound up just using them in the truck house here. So let's go check out the inside. Precursor, I didn't clean out this camper at all. I just want to show you guys what it's really like, how it actually looks most of the time. So here's the inside, and it is not too big. It's about 40 square feet of living space, a little bit less maybe, but it is super cozy and comfortable, and it just feels like home right when you walk in the door. So let's head in and I'll tell you all about it here. Welcome to my house. So where should we start? I guess we could start by showing you the back of the camper first. So over here we have my wood stove. This is my pride and joy, my winter savior. This makes this feel like a true cabin when you're inside in the wintertime. It's a Kimberly wood stove. They're made in Vashon Island, Washington. A guy named Roger Liat invented them, and they're just awesome. I've had this Kimberly stove for about 12 years now. I had it in my Toyota RV back in 2011, and after I sold that, I took it out and put it in this camper the last 4 years. It has been awesome. You can cook on top of it. A load of wood lasts you about 3 hours inside of it, so you do have to stoke it often, but still sweet. It's really awesome to sit here and just have a fire while you're chilling. I do have additional sources of heat. Originally, I had a propane heater in here and it sucked. I took that thing out and I installed a Webasto diesel heater instead. This thing is awesome. You press one button, the diesel heater fires up and blows hot air out from my grill area right there. And that'll warm up the camper in 5 minutes, and it's extremely efficient. The tank in the rear porch is about 2.5 gallons, and I can run this heater for somewhere around a week if I just leave it on all the time. A lot of you guys wonder how I power this whole thing. Under here, I can remove these flaps down right here and access this area. And I have, it's really dirty right now, but a set of Battleborn batteries, lithium batteries. There's 200 amp hours. They're extremely awesome. I never have to hook up the generator in here. And if I do, I have a NOCO battery charger right there, so that can charge up my batteries if they're super low. On the roof, I have 100 watts of solar, and it's not a lot of solar, but it totally keeps the Battleborn batteries topped off, and they're almost always 100%. It's pretty sweet. And also, while I'm driving, my truck charges the house batteries, so I get about 150 to 200 watts while I'm driving the truck into the batteries. On this side, I have my good old Dometic 3-range 17-inch burner and oven. Use this oven all the time to make cookies and whatever else. And it's a great setup, but obviously I have to find a better way to mount it. It keeps on breaking free. And right down here, I have the controller for the electric jacks. I just turn that on, and then I can power the jacks up to take the camper off the truck if I want. Under the wood stove, I have my toilet. A lot of you guys ask if I have a toilet in here, and there's your answer. So you just pop that off, slide that out, use the bathroom, push it back in when you're done. Behind the wood stove, I got some firewood storage, pot and pan storage, stuff like that. Got a little spice rack up there and my good old 410 shotgun there. It's my little ptarmigan hunter for dinner. Up above the range here is a max air vent fan. So this thing is awesome. It's really efficient and it'll vent all of this moisture out of here when I'm cooking, or if it's really hot in the summer, it can pull air in or pull it out. So it's pretty awesome to have. Also didn't really want to use a sink in here. If I need a sink, I just put a big pot up here on this, and I've got a hand pump faucet that you see in a sailboat. So you just pump that, water comes out of a jug that I usually keep right there. And I do that so you don't have to worry about pipes freezing and plumbing issues and all that stuff in the winter up here. Also have a little utensil drawer right there that slides in and out. People ask what I do for a refrigerator in here. If you look right down here, I've got a Dometic 40cc refrigerator. It's just an electric one, extremely efficient. I leave this thing on 24/7 in the summertime, and it doesn't even touch my batteries. So pretty cool. So it looks like a cooler, but it's not. Right across from the fridge freezer, I have a little trash can and a toilet paper holder roll up there for the bathroom. One of my favorite parts about this camper is I have 2 couches. They're both 6 feet long, so you can sleep 2 people right beside each other, totally on their own separate beds, even though this is only an 8 foot long by 6 foot wide camper. The other cool part is you can turn this whole area into a bed if you want. You just lift up this side and these slats pull out right there, and this slides out into a bed. Or this is a jackknife sofa on this side, so you just lift and it turns into a bed in 2 seconds. It's pretty neat. Now the windows in here are one of the coolest parts. These are Japanese made. They're from a company called Maygood, a lot cheaper than the Dometic ones. And they open up like this. So it can be raining and you can still have ventilation. And you also have a bug screen that pulls down, or shades to black it out at night, especially if you're in a city. These have been awesome, and they're double insulated, so you think it'd be freezing cold being up against it, but it's really not. The insulation's great on it. And I did spray foam the camper with insulation, so there's no drafts in here. It's really cozy all the time. Feels good. A lot of you guys ask where storage is. I've got storage for all the bedding and whatnot under this bed. This whole thing lifts up for storage. This floor right here, this lifts up and exposes about a 4 foot long section of floor storage. And also have storage all along under this side of the couch over here. You guys probably noticed I got a little DVD TV right here, so I can watch movies whenever I want, so that's kind of cool. And then I've got these custom charging stations right here where I can plug in cell phones or cameras or drones, laptops, whatever I need to charge. There's also some cool hidden stuff in here that you don't really see unless you look. I've got cup holders that flip out off the wall like that on each side. Also have some fun art and little hidden things in here. Little eyeballs if you look close enough. And you'll find art from my friends in here, and my grandma painted this when she was about 13 years old. Got my old license plate up there. A couple of tickets hanging from one of the coolest festivals in the world. If you've never been, you should check it out, Burning Man. Postcards from friends. Here's a dream catcher I made when I was 14. I used to make those and sell them to a local store. Some artwork from some van life friends there. A little tribute to one of my best friends I ever had. And just some more artwork and a little picture of my old man up there from back in the day. All right, let's head back out of here. A lot of you guys asked what mods I'm gonna be doing to the truck in the future. Probably one of the biggest mods I'm going to make is the ARB air lockers in the front and rear axle. That way I can press a button and lock both my front wheels and both my back wheels together and have crazy good traction. It's just really expensive to do. I do already have the ARB air compressor behind my seat installed, so I just need to be able to afford the lockers one day. I've also blown 3 power steering pumps in this thing. It's kind of just a known problem for these Fords. It's only 39 bucks to fix it. It's really easy to fix, but I do want to do some kind of hydraulic assisted steering for these big old 37-inch tires at some point to make the truck easier to steer and just keep the pump from blowing out. Also would like to add some small custom storage boxes in the future. I've got this really large area right here that could be utilized for just kind of a small skinny box right there. So I want to get a couple more boxes from Highway Products and have them mounted right there for some extra storage. I think that would be kind of cool. So finally, the big question, would I change anything in this truck camper? And my answer is no. I've been really satisfied with this thing. And like I was saying, it took a long time to design it after I'd lived in a camper for a long time. So I knew exactly what I wanted going into it. and I've just been completely happy with it the whole time. Future plans for the truck house, I do have a pretty exciting road trip coming up. I don't want to share details with you just yet. I'm still planning everything out, but there's going to be a lot of awesome videos coming up, so I'm really excited to take you guys on that journey. Well guys, I guess that's a wrap. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments down there and I'll try to get back to you. It's hard to when I have so many comments. Just know that I try to read all the comments if I do have time, and I really do appreciate you guys tuning into the channel and supporting this adventure we call life. It's really cool reading your comments and getting your messages and just seeing so many people inspired, and it just makes me want to keep charging forward and keep doing this. So keep leaving stuff because I'd love to keep reading and trying to respond when I can. Anyhow guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button down there and subscribe to the channel, and come join me every week. I do a new video at least every week, and I'd love to see you again. So we'll see you on the next one. Peace, y'all.